Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we have a pretty big one. We're going over Cold War zombies. I know I haven't been uploading, I am sorry, but I wanted to kind of come back with a big video. So today we are going to be ranking each of Cold War's zombie maps from the worst to the best. Now keep in mind though, I do want to mention none of the maps are actually bad, but there are some that are better than others. In my personal opinion, I think Cold War did fantastic on making zombies. I think each map was really fun to play, but yes, like I said, there are some that are just better than others and do things just a tad bit better. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go to our number 5 spot. Taking the number 5 spot today, guys, is going to be Outbreak, an open world mode that is objective based. It is no longer a round-based mode. In fact, it's not even its own zombie map. It's more of just a bunch of fire team maps that you travel through with zombies thrown in there. And personally, in my opinion, this was a cool concept. I like that it's open world. I like that it's huge. And I like some of the objectives you get to do. I thought this was really creative and a nice change of pace. However, a lot of the objectives in this map just felt really repetitive. The gameplay felt really slow, and it really just takes you out of the zombies experience. We're used to kind of fast-paced, round-based modes, and this game mode was just the complete opposite. So a lot of people obviously did not enjoy it too much. Now, I do think that there was some cool things in here, and I would definitely love for them to try this again in a future Call of Duty, maybe Modern Warfare 3. There are some leaks and rumors going on there that Outbreak is returning, so if it is, I hope that they go ahead and fix everything that was wrong with Cold War's Outbreak, because there definitely is a lot to improve upon. A few things I thought was really cool about Outbreak is you can drive vehicles, you can pull out your parachute if you jump off a high place, you can teleport across the map. There's just a lot of different mobility options that I thought was really cool, but still it did not do enough to save this mode. So that is why it is in the number 5 spot. It was creative, but it was poor execution. Coming in number 4 spot today is Mallard, a map set in Berlin, which was really beautiful. The map looked amazing. We had the kind of OG power where if you turned it on, it was a switch that went up. That was really nice to see. We were introduced to, I believe, Mule Kick in this map, which was a fantastic perk. I'm so glad they brought that back. There was a lot this map did right. First off, the map layout was okay. I think it could have been better, but for the most, it was playable. You know, that's kind of like the best I can do for it. It was playable. The wonder weapons, they were pretty cool. I think there were a bit too many, and I think that really made the map a little bit too easy. Like, I know D Machine was really easy, but this map might be easier just because you have so many wonder weapons. There's so much room to run around. There's this guy named Klaus that you can turn on who will start killing zombies for you, and I'm pretty sure he can res too. I just think there's too much kind of going on in this map, but the things going on were just making it way too easy for you. And most of the time, you're just kind of near the pack-a-punch anyway. The rest of the map's kind of irrelevant. So I just really did not like Mallard all that much. It was a cool map. I still think that it looks really good. I think the map layout is still pretty damn good too. But I just can't get behind it. I don't know. It's just a map I will never really go on Cold War and like want to play. There's so many more maps before it that just catch my eye, and I'll definitely play over and over again before I touch Mallard. I only played Mallard for gameplay purposes because I dislike it that much. Now, the wonder weapons, though, were really cool. Now, I know there's a lot of them, but I think that having a lot of them can be good if it does not make it too easy, which unfortunately it does. So you start off with a gun called the Cerberus, which is kind of like this fully auto pistol with this orb circling it. It looks really cool, and it does a lot of damage, but while you have this wonder weapon, if you kill zombies, there's a chance they drop a variant of the wonder weapon you have, and there's up to 4 different variants. Now, this wouldn't be a problem if they were really hard to obtain. No, they drop pretty damn frequently, and they're really overpowered. And if you run out of ammo on one, it reverts back to the older wonder weapon you just had that has full ammo still, so you can continue to be perfectly fine in any scenario, which I think is something that should not have been in this mode. I think that if you have a wonder weapon or wonder weapons in a map, you need to make sure it's balanced and kind of harder to obtain. Now, I do also love the verticality in this map. Grappling up to the roof of a building, or just grappling from rooftop to rooftop, I absolutely love that. You go from the roof down to a whole entire subway station with trains that can kill you to about the middle ground. I love that there's layers to this map. I think that's absolutely awesome. I love when maps do that, but still, unfortunately, the map itself just doesn't play exactly great. And I think that they put all their work into like a map design, but the functionality of the map just doesn't really flow together nicely, at least for me. Mallard has great verticality, and it has a really beautiful looking map design. However, the pacing just is not there, and it just simply is way too easy, and that is why it's in the number 4 spot in today's video.
Your team's approaching the rendezvous coordinates. What are your orders, Weaver?
In number 3 is going to be Firebase Z, a map that I actually really do like a lot because it is really satisfying to play, and they changed it up just enough to make this map stand out from the others. So Firebase Z released in a time where Cold War Zombies was getting kind of stale. We had D Machine for a few months, and we didn't really have anything to work with, so we were stuck with D Machine, and we were really just wanting a new Zombies map. And when Firebase Z was revealed, so much hype was surrounding it. We got the return of Samantha Maxis, Zombies' biggest character, I think. Actually, yeah, I think it is the biggest character in all of COD Zombies. And she returned in this map. And the whole Easter egg was kind of us trying to save her. And this Easter egg was really fun. And not only was it fun, it was easy to do, which I think, honestly, was a good thing. I think having at least one map with a really easy Easter egg makes it really accessible to any kind of player to get the story done, to have fun, and kind of just learn how Easter eggs could work going forward. I've done this Easter egg at least over 10 times. I love this map a lot, and I just think that the map design is cool. So you start off at this little place where you have a guy named Revanov, and you spend a few rounds there before having to go up onto a roof to a teleporter that takes you to the Firebase Z. So this map is split up into 2 different portions, 2 different areas for 2 different things, and I think that's actually pretty nice, and I really do think that's a cool concept that they went ahead and did. Firebase Z is not a huge map, but I think that it's just the right size for something fun. Although we did spend a pretty good amount of time waiting for a new map, we actually deserved something kind of bigger, but for what Firebase Z was, I think that it was a nice addition at the time, and I think that the gameplay was just absolutely perfect. Now, yes, the map design isn't the absolute greatest, not like Mallard, because Mallard, I mean, at least had a beautiful looking map. I think Firebase Z, it didn't look absolutely beautiful. It kind of had the same color scheme throughout, and I mean, they definitely could have done a little better. But I think that the gameplay and the pacing was phenomenal in this map. I think that it played very smoothly. It was very fast. We got the introduction to mimics, which were actually kind of scary when they first came out. Like, if you saw an object on the ground and went to pick it up, a huge monster just spawn out of it and come attack you. It was scary, and I think that was a really creative boss to put into a map like this one. When you reach round 15 on this map, they decided to change it up a little bit. You would now have to defend against a few different waves of enemies at this little location. And if you failed to do so, I don't actually remember what the consequence was, but there were consequences to not defending the location that was needed. And I think that this was a really interesting round, because we usually had rounds where zombie dogs would come in and attack you, or things that would blow up. No, they decided to change it this one and add a defending round, which I think is really creative. Also in Firebase Z, we saw the introduction of Hellhounds, something we last saw back in Black Ops 4. They're pretty OG, and I'm glad that they finally, re-added the Hellhounds back to Firebase Z, and they actually fits really nice. And they changed them a little bit to where if you kill them, just this large pile of fire would form on the ground, and if you were stepping in it, you'd take damage. That wasn't originally part of the Hellhounds, but I think that it made them just a little bit more kind of intimidating to go against, just knowing that they can leave a splash damage radius of fire and that could potentially kill you. I think that was a good move on them, making them a little bit more difficult and annoying to deal with, because before they were just really, really easy to take out, and I love what they did. Another thing I do have to say about this map is the Ray K. So we got a AK-47, but it was mixed with a ray gun, and it was super, super fun. One of the best wonder weapons we've seen in Cold War. It played really, really fun. It was really satisfying to use. It had a lot of ammo. There was like this kind of grenade launcher thing where like you shot it and like this kind of circle of energy would be shot out, and it was really, really cool. And I think that we need more wonder weapons like this, really, more ray gun variants that just really, really stand out. This map was short, but it was also very, very sweet, and that is why it is in the number 3 spot today. In our number 2 spot is Forsaken, and a lot of people probably find it surprising that I put it really, really high up in the ranking of Cold War, because a lot of people would consider Mallard or even Firebase Z to be better than this map. And there's a few reasons as to why people would want to put Forsaken kind of lower down, but honestly, I don't think that's right. For the longest time, I used to hate Forsaken, and I always thought it was just a bad map, but I never really gave it a fair chance and never really tried it out. Until a few days ago when I finally was getting footage for it, my opinions shifted drastically. One thing I really do appreciate for this map is going to be the starter room. It is just like Black Ops 1 Moon or Black Ops 3 Moon, where you go to the starting room and it's kind of like an infinite round. Now, it's not infinite in Forsaken, the rounds do go up, but the zombies never stop spawning. It's like constantly, and it's such a good way to get points and set you up for the match ahead of you. And it is a pretty good open space, so you can train, do whatever you absolutely need to do. It's such a great room, and I absolutely love these kind of starting rooms. It's one of the reasons why I liked the Moon map, just because Area 51, it was such a challenge then to stay there, but it was pretty rewarding. You can pack a punch almost instantly if you stayed there and you're skilled enough to get the points. And I mean, it's kind of the same here. If you stay there enough, you'll get the points, and you'll be able to open up every door in the map. You'll be able to pack a punch, and I mean, it's just a really good way to get your game started. So this map may not have the best map design, however, I do think that all the sights you see, the atmosphere it builds, it's all really, really nice. This place is taken straight out of the Call of Duty campaign, which, I mean, I don't mind it too much, because when you're playing the zombie map, you don't really think too much about, oh, it's the campaign. No, you think of it kind of as its own thing. But the one thing that is kind of a problem here is the map design is just a couple rooms separated by a portal that you go and visit. At first, I really did not like this because I just felt like it was kind of a lazy design for a zombie map. But after going back and playing it, I kind of appreciated it more because it's different from most zombie maps that ever release. So I was just kind of more appreciative that they decided to change it up a little bit, even if these changes might seem kind of dumb or might seem just kind of bad. At least they were creative enough to, you know, change it up. Also, let's talk about the wonder weapon, an axe. So this is like some sort of elemental axe. I'm not even going to try to say the name of it because I couldn't tell you. But it's super, super crazy. It's such a fun weapon. It's infinite swings, so you can constantly use it as a melee. It turns into a gun that does have ammo, but if you use the melee long enough, you'll find these crystallized shards on the ground, and you can replenish your ammo that way. Max ammos work. It is super, super good. It's one of the best wonder weapons I think that have ever been released in over the decade zombies has been made. I think this axe is super, super good, and it's super addictive using. This wonder weapon alone brings me back to this map constantly now, and I just want more of it. Now, I also will say this though, the boss in this is just kind of weird. It's kind of like the Margwa from Shadows of Evil in Black Ops 3, but kind of more of like a dog, I want to say. I don't really like the boss too much in this map, but, you know, at least it's something kind of cool, but I don't really, you know, mess with it too much. The Manglers and Mimics also make a return in this map. So there's a bunch of different variety of enemies in this, so it's never really getting too boring of gameplay. And I can't really say much about the Easter egg because I didn't do it. I did a public game, and the other people were doing all the steps, so I don't really know what was going on most of the time. But I do luckily have the footage, which is showing right now, of us doing the boss fight. As soon as we got in there, I understood it almost immediately, and we actually got through the Easter egg and got one of the coolest Easter egg endings ever with like that Richtofen reveal. Forsaken is just one of the coolest zombie maps I've ever played, and it deserves way more recognition for what it is and for what it did. So I forgot to kind of mention this earlier, but one thing Cold War did right is not having a perk limit. You can have every single perk in the game. That is so awesome. And there's also tiers to the perks. It's just, it has so much replay value, especially with Forsaken. Honestly, all the maps have replay value, and it's just crazy that, you know, Cold War wasn't received as well as it should have been. I think Cold War is one of the best CODs that have ever really released. It's really close to that arcade shooter that we used to have, that we knew and love. Modern Warfare has been taking that kind of way farther to the actual, like, realism element. And I don't really like that too much, but, you know, I play Modern Warfare because it is a Call of Duty. But anyways, this is just a few of the reasons why I think Forsaken deserves that number 2 spot. Forsaken was very chaotic, and it was a really fun experience overall, and that's why I have to give it the number 2 spot. One of the greatest Easter eggs, some of the best gameplay you can get in Cold War, the wonder weapons, everything about it was honestly really great, and it's sad a lot of people kind of overlook it, and also really just kind of hate on it. Taking the number 1 spot is going to be D Machine. It was really accessible to both new players and OG players. It honestly really was meant for everyone. The map design was amazing. The wonder weapons were amazing. You can get set up really easily in this map. The bosses were amazing. You can enter the Dark Ether, and it completely changed the map's look. It was absolutely beautiful. Everything about this map was absolutely perfect. It had the most replayability value to it, and it really set the tone for the remainder of Cold War. It was a good example on how to make a great starting map, and it really revived the zombies community. But that's going to go ahead and wrap up today's video. Please leave a like, subscribe if you enjoy, and leave your own rating down in the comments below. I'd really be interested to hear them, and I'd see you all in the next one.